Hey, welcome to my channel. This is Infinite Collective Healing, and I am Heather. This next interview that I do with my beautiful friend Angie, we come together just sharing a lot of things that we have learned along the way. And I just want to say, take it or leave it, no harm, no foul. These are just things that we have endured over the last few years that we come together and had epiphanies on. We are not here to intend to hurt or harm anyone. These are literally things that we have actually really dug deep within ourselves. So I hope you enjoy this conversation that she and I have. There are many more to come. And these are just, again, our personal opinions, and we hope that you enjoy.
And when you realize that we have been trapped in the matrix for eons, um, and the rules to come here is separation from God, um, and that we have to find our way back, we already come in with anxiety because we have lost what we know to be true. We have abandonment issues because we feel abandoned by our team and our gods, and it's like we know that they were there and we long for them, but as we grow up and the matrix and the mindset just gets thicker and thicker, we forget all of the things, so it gives us even more anxiety because we feel completely separate, even though we hear you have guardian angels and you have spirit guides, and we hear it, but it doesn't mean anything to us because on one hand we're told if you can't see it, then you don't believe it. But
Right.
then on the other hand, we never can see God, but you're supposed to believe him and fear him
Yep.
tremendously. I mean, there's
Yes.
so much controversy
Mhm.
that you can argue so much. We shouldn't argue because it's about discernment and truth, and what does it feel here? What does it feel like here?
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but for me, when I first started this journey, the healing journey, and finding out truths and going down rabbit holes and digging into conspiracy theories 4 years ago, it took me a while to let go of the old mentality of who I identified as God. And through my journey, finding Dolores Cannon, being more open, having sessions, communicating with galactics, which is so awesome, by the way, if you have not
Mhm.
communicated with high dimensional beings. uh the fear that they would ever do anything to us. Listen, if they wanted to do something, we would have already been gone. Like, they are so advanced, like we are cavemen, archaic to them. Okay, listen, there's nothing to fear. They're
But that's
actually,
not what they believe. They believe that we are this most powerful light ever.
yes, I know, but I'm just saying, like, in,
But yeah, in
like,
technology wise or
yes, like,
whatever. Yeah.
we are so old school, they are so
Mhm.
far
Mhm.
advanced. Yes, it's really cool how we came to be. That's a crazy story of like how we have evolved into this really cool genetic, uh some say 20, some say 22 different um galactic beings that have made the human, which is
Right.
so
I heard
cool,
that. Yep.
right?
Mhm.
um but when you think about all of that, uh it's like, what is there to fear? I mean, really, I'm excited. I cannot wait until they are ready to literally show up. Like, I beg them all the time. Please, please land in my field. I want to see you face to face because I see them in dream state all the time. When
Yeah.
I am in the astral, I have seen light beings. I have seen myself as a light being. I have seen spider beings. I've seen um oh my gosh, what was that other? I guess it's Syrian, or
Oh
is that how you
yeah.
say?
You told me it was a
I had
Syrian
no
being.
idea that's what it was. It was
Mhm.
it was during my fasting. So I was
Mm.
like clear in myself, and I thought it was a robot because it was so
Yes.
metallic looking,
Mhm.
and they came to me and they were like in my face and they were just so beautiful and shiny and had like this iridescent rainbow looking skin. That's why I thought they
Mhm.
were like metal, but they were very, um, I wouldn't say it was almost like emotionless in the sense of like I didn't feel whether they were, good or bad. It was very neutral feeling with them, but I did feel like they were benevolent. So I
Yeah.
felt no ill intent. And now that I've actually figured out who they were, I'm like, oh gosh, I really need to meditate and go back and like retract because they said stuff to me during that communication, but I have forgotten because I think it's because something's going to come of that eventually because that's usually how it works. But um, yeah, they came to me and gave me a message, and so I was like, whoa, that's really cool. And I
Mm.
fly everywhere. Like, oh God, I get into my light body, I'm out of here. Like I have been outside this planet. I have done all kinds of things. What do you do, Angie?
I don't know. I've had very, very vivid dreams where I have flown out, like out into space. And one specifically, I just remember floating into space, and it was so real that I just remember looking at the constellation of the Pleiades and saying, "Hey, well, I guess I'll get there pretty soon." And then, but I wasn't there yet. I don't know. I wasn't there yet. And this was probably, I don't know, 3, 4 years ago, maybe. And then, but, and I have also visited a planet that was so, so real. It's those real dreams that are like you are there and you wake up and you remember everything as if you just came back from there. Like you were there, and
Yes.
it was a most beautiful planet. It was at night, I think, because I was sleeping, and then like there were dolphins in the water, and my son was in the water, like swimming with the dolphins, and they were playing, and it was just amazing. So I think, um, aside from my own personal meditations, where my my star family actually interacts with me and gives me my teachings and my information, and I do get visions also they give me, um those dreams are something else. Those
Mm,
vivid dreams are lucid. So those are amazing, but they're confirming to my connection with my star family, because my star family is constantly giving me information about what's to come. And
mm-hmm.
so far, everything they've given me has been spot on.
Wow.
So
That's
it's
wild.
just a matter of me interpreting, like to tell other people, because they speak in a way that I get, and I get
Mm-hmm.
visions along with it, and then I have to interpret it. And that part to me is difficult.
Yes.
But when I'm in it in the moment, I'm like, whoa, and always amazed. But when I go to tell somebody else, they're like, oh, okay,
Yeah. You're not feeling my energy, but I'm
not the
telling you.
same.
Well, that just kind of goes to show because like once you get into the higher realms, like it's not work 3D is words, right?
Yes.
Because it's so low vibrational and it really downplays everything. That's what I'm
Yeah.
learning too. It's like, and that's why when we on the other side, there's not a whole lot of words exchanged. It's more
No.
of a feeling and a knowing, and like everything
And
is
vision
telepathic. Yeah. And
all at
in
once.
images. Yeah. Like one image could just be like,
Yes.
like you can get so much from it. It's
Hmm.
wild.
Yeah.
I want to share. This is just, I don't know why. And I guess I need to tell you. So I had this really weird dream. Just I woke up this morning and I was like, wow, I think that was a very intense dream. And at first I didn't remember, and I was like, oh, I think I'm supposed to remember. And so I just said, I'm gonna remember it. And then I just kept saying, it's coming back, it's coming back. I can get, and so what I remember, let me tell you this, and this is insane. I saw a young guy. I felt like I was in the White House. Okay. This young guy was there to expose the Illuminati. Okay. And I kept hiding from him because I was like, oh gosh. And when I looked around, like I realized that I was in the White House. I was like, what am I doing here? And I was kind of caught off guard. Okay. And I was watching him going back and forth. And then I ended up, like, I had to hide and I went into this room. And in this room, there was this woman, and she was almost like chained up in this room. Okay. And she was red, like blood everywhere. Okay. And she was screaming. And then she comes off the wall and comes at me. Now, it's so weird because what I do in dream state, it's so weird sometimes because it's like literally a higher version of self does these things. So what I did was she was at me like this, and she was like trying to get at me, and I grabbed her from behind like this, and I pulled like this off of her. What I pulled off of her was like this black coat or this black cloak or something. When I pulled it off of her like this, it freed her. Okay. And then like she was like, oh my gosh, you finally freed me. You freed me. Okay. All right. That guy that was out there, he comes in and she says, put it back on. I know how to free myself. So I was like, okay. So I put it back on. She goes back and she's back into her screaming, but she's now aware. And he's like, okay. He communicates her as like, tell me where they are. I'm going to fix this. Okay. And then I realized he can't see me. I'm not even there. So I don't know if I'm like remote viewing. I don't know if I'm just I'm in my light body and he's not aware of me. But anyways, so what I got out of that when I woke, I was like, whoa. And there was a lot more that happened apparently, but that's just the part that they wanted me to remember. And then I thought, oh my gosh, is there someone in the White House right now that knows what's going on? And the things that they do, the rituals that they do, is it black magic? And did I pull the black magic off of her to show her that it's only an illusion for her? Because then she was aware, and then she was like, I now know what to do. And so I put it back on. I don't know if that was they had her soul trapped there. That's kind of what I got. But you when you go down rabbit holes and you go into that stuff with them, it's blood ritual, that kind of thing. So I felt like that was like symbolism of she was a representation of them, of what it represents. But they were showing me how that black magic or curse or whatever you want to call it, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they did that to her. But it was like they trapped her soul here. But I think they're feeding on her too. It was like they were feeding on the aftermath of her soul suffering, being stuck in the astral, right? But whoever this person is, and I was like, is that showing me that that's where humanity's going, where this closure, where it's going to show who's involved, how they're involved, and what what really entails for those of us that went down the rabbit hole and we found all the things out. But like, are they going to expose it? And is there a hidden place in the White House that this is? I don't know. It was just very strange. It was very
and from my past research, supposedly, yes, there are things within the tunnels underground there that happen like that.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. So
And
It
so
was,
talk about the throat chakra of of the earth right there.
uh-huh.
That's what she's been experiencing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
so um my guide's telling me that the light has been put into place for, they basically said, they uh, when it comes to time and my guides, I take it with a grain of salt. However, they told me for the next 4 years the light is in place, so there will be revelations of things never seen before.
Yeah.
So if that's part of clearing our chakras of the earth, they said that the world is going to come together. The world is going to be unified.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if that's part of cleaning out the chakras of the earth with, you know, revelations unseen,
Yeah.
when you shine light on the darkness, we can heal it, right? We can get rid of it. So
Yeah.
that sounds very,
That was
very
weird that I had it last,
in
like
line
literally
with
this
what,
morning.
yeah,
Yeah.
with what I got. So
And I was just like, whoa.
that's pretty interesting, though, that
Yeah.
you had that dream.
And she, oh God, like the sound of her scream was so eerie, and the way that she
Yeah.
looked. And I mean, at first she caught me off guard because, here she was kind of like tied up, and then she literally just came off the wall at me. And then my first instinct was like just to grab her from behind, and I didn't even realize she even had on that dark
Cloak or
cloak
whatever.
thing,
So when
whatever
you
it
took off the
was.
cloak, what'd she look like?
Like a regular, like me. She was
Mm-hmm.
like, she looked like me in a light body. Like if you imagine a human,
Oh.
but like almost see-through, she
Mm.
was back
Yeah.
into like a light body, like her
Okay.
soul. But
Interesting.
she had like the movie Ghost, when Patrick Swayze comes,
Yeah.
if you can
Yes.
imagine that, that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
what it looked like. But it wasn't glowy or anything like that. It was kind of misty in a sense. Is kind of what I can see that it was a female, and but she looked back to where probably what she looked like before all of this happened. Because when I couldn't tell, like she had like sandy brown hair because
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
black and it was plastered to her head, and she was just red everywhere, and ugh, it was awful. And that was all I could see on that was that black, whatever that black, and it was like around her neck, around her
Mm-hmm.
lower torso. Like you could see her face, and you could see around like parts of her. So it wasn't like completely enclosed in her. But it was
Yeah.
just like my first instinct was to grab the darkness off of her. And when I did,
Mm.
that's when everything came to light. And I was like, wow, okay, that was in okay. I definitely needed to remember that. But there's
Right.
somebody in place. That's what I felt like, and I could feel that in my gut. Like there's somebody in place right now. And I don't know if it's the vice president because it's somebody young.
That was the first thing I got
Yeah.
when you
And I
said
hadn't
that.
even seen, like I have not watched any debates. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know anything about him. So I don't know what
You know what he looked like in your dream, or did you see him
he
in your
had
dream?
brown hair. He just looked really young. Like I would say, maybe late 30s, early 40s. He was not very old at all. Like he looks like a very young. Um, he was kind of not skinny, but he wasn't fat. He was kind of like I don't want to say stocky either, but
Husky.
yeah, yeah. That's kind of what he looked like. And
Okay. Well, you just described JD Vance.
oh my God, that's weird. Because that's kind of, I mean, whatever. That's who I saw, and I couldn't see his face. It was kind of like
Yeah.
he just kept going in and out, and he was just like very like meticulous about certain things and not getting caught because he's like the way that I took it is he's doing it underground, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or he's doing it where nobody knows, and he's gathering evidence, and whoever this was, he was able to communicate with that. I don't know what that meant. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he just knows about what goes on, if he knows about the area, if he's able to, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't even know if she's just a representation to show me like this is what this room represents or this area. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't know, but that's just what I saw. And this person is very aware of what's going on behind the scenes, and he is all about taking that part down. But he's making sure everything is in line before it happens. That's what I got. And that's weird that I got it this morning. Like literally it was this morning when I got that dream.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
But I've also seen about 2 years ago, I saw that Biden was being rolled down the hallway in the White House and he had quarters on his eyes.
Oh.
He was dead. And Kamala was pushing him. Yeah.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. And I was like,
there's
whoa.
rumors of that happening where, like he's going to be pushed out so she can be in for the next 2 months or whatever. Well, not even 2 months anymore.
Yeah. Well, I saw this 2 years ago and I was like, oh, well, I figured he'd already be. Yeah. So, sometimes I get these dreams and it takes a long time for them to happen, or it doesn't happen the way that, and I think it's because, timelines shift and stuff like that can happen. But like they've already showed me, and that's what I saw, like she took over.
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought, oh, well, maybe it's just not in our timeline. Like things are going the way they're going, and who knows what that means. But yeah, I literally saw like something happened. He died, and they literally put the quarters on. I saw the American flag across the lower half, and they had they were showing his face because I was able to see. And in this particular dream, I was floating, so I knew that I was not in physical form. I was able to see. And I've never even been to Washington. I've never been anywhere near the White House, just seen it on TV. So I don't even know what it looks like, but I saw that, that moment, and it was very wide open. Yeah. And there was, Secret Service lined up everywhere. But she was pushing him out with a big smile on her face, like she defeated, like she won something, And I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like this is going to happen long time ago, but I guess it just wasn't in the cards.
Unless that was the whole thing that happened in July, where they pushed him out and put her in.
Yeah.
Without having ever being voted for. They just put her in.
It could be. Yeah. Because sometimes the dreams are symbolism. It's not like literally,
true.
True. So I don't know. I've seen some crazy stuff, man. Like when I ask it before I go to bed, I'm like, hey, show me something that's going to help me understand for humanity. Boy, I can be in for a wild ride. I can be off planet. And that's where I've learned a lot of my higher perspectives. And like I used to feel bad, not bad. I used to feel like, gosh, am I the only person that does this? Because people just don't talk about these things, not openly. And working with Gaia, sometimes it's like, am I really doing anything? And then of course, like they showed me with Milton, they're like, yes. And of course, I'm not the only one. I'm not saying that.
No, right.
But it's like, wow, my contribution does matter.
Yeah.
My consciousness does matter because I have to save me. I have to quit caring what people think about me. And that's been my liberation. Girl, I have never been so happy about spreading my dang truth and not giving a shit what people say.
Right.
It is so liberating because I've had to worry about what people think of me my whole entire life. And that's been healing for me, is doing these podcasts with people and really not giving a crap what people think,
Yeah.
Because it's about the awakening, and it is. And if you have to make your choice. We are at this pivotal moment. I feel so deeply in my soul. They keep talking about the split and all that. And ideally, we're eternal beings and it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So I'm not going to worry about nobody at this point. I'm worried about me and my light, and I'm worried about the ones who are ready to go with me, who are on this bandwagon with me. It's got my back, because it's not about winning. It's
No.
about our light is just canceling out the darkness. And
Yeah.
did you ever see that video about the little soul in the sun?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you feel about that when you watched it?
I thought it was beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I watched it, I cried.
It's like a metaphor.
Yeah,
For
I
everything.
cry every time I watch it, I cry. And here's why. If you have not seen that, The Little Soul in the Sun, you need to go watch it. It explains humanity.
Mhm.
It explains why there is polarity. Because we ultimately need both. We need the good and the bad, because really there's neither. They're lessons, right? The thing is, the reason why we have gotten to the point where we are is that the darkness got so engulfed playing the darkness, because when you choose to go dark, you got to let go of all of the light. The goal, though, is the darkness finds their way back to the light. And that's why, if you believe in reincarnation all you want, it is real. But whenever you play these parts, you're going to play both sides. You're going to play light and dark. You have to understand both sides, because that's how you learn and grow. When you are the doer and the receiver of situations, that's how you understand all of the emotions around these experiences, right? So I have a great appreciation for the darkness. And then that's kind of led me into doing spirit release, because a lot of these beings are trapped here themselves in the darkness, and they're like, get me out of here. I've had so many conversations with these beings from the dark side, and I'm like, do you know why I'm here? And they're like, yes, thank God you came back for me, because they can't be released when we are in density. They get stuck to us like a flipping magnet, right? So whenever I'm able to show them their light and bring their light back and cut that light back on in their heart space, and they're like, oh, there it is. I remember. And they're able to go back, and, whatever happens from that point, I'm not responsible. But getting that light to come back on, that is the most empowering moment for me as a human being able to bring that awareness to the darkness. So I have so much love and empathy for the darkness, even the ones that are playing the dark now. And my guides have always, always, always told me from the beginning, when I got exposed to the darkness, they were like, Heather, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. Don't allow that chatter to come in your mind about the darkness. And I never understood it until now. And what better way to defeat the dark is to engulf them with love, because that's the one thing that they've forgotten. They forgot what it feels like. They
Mm-hmm.
forgot to feel. They forgot. They have been so separated from God. They forgot. They've played that part. And it's all an experience. That's why we have to kind of let go of all the crap that's going on, because we're just a soul and we are eternal beings. So in the grand scheme of things, this is the blimp of our lifetime, because we're going to keep going and we're going to have more experiences, and it's just, God knows where we're going to go, right? So this blimp of a lifetime is so empowering, because we've learned so much from this experience. That's why everything's been allowed to play out. As crazy as it is, man, what we have learned and we'll never forget, because it's ingrained in our DNA. This is going to be history for the galactics. Like, they are watching us going, holy crap, they're doing it. Oh
Yes,
my
because
gosh.
as the light has risen on the earth, and the we have all become the light, and we've connected in the light, and as it grows and grows, which it's going to from here on out, the those of us who are in that lower vibrational energy, they will, they still have a choice. So they can choose to connect to that light spark that's coming because of the greater light that's on the earth, or they can choose not to.
Mm-hmm.
But what's going to happen is that light is just going to keep growing in the earth and on the earth and with the world and with the people, to the point where we're going to shift into another dimension, and those who didn't choose
Mm-hmm.
to grab onto that light and also, you know, vibrate higher, um, they might not come right away.
Mm-hmm.
They might take more time, or they might not come at all.
Yeah.
So, but that is a fact. Like, that is true. Like, at least to me, because that's what the visions I've gotten, that's the information I've gotten from my guides. And yes, that feels like it's an outside source. However, I connect I connect here first, and I connect
Mm-hmm.
here, and that's how my source is connected to my star family and my highest self.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I know that to be true. And so it's like you said, it's not about winning or losing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about your choice. You can choose to live in misery, or you can choose to live in light and love and happiness and joy and see the gratitude in everything. Or you can be over here and be a
Mm-hmm.
victim and hate everybody and blame
Mm-hmm.
everybody else for
Yeah.
being there. It's your
That's
choice.
right.
So,
Yeah.
but,
That's what
and
I
then
say
there's
too.
people like you who go around and show people how you can see the light. Like, this is the light. And you could, yeah, like, you could be a part of it.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh, you're crazy. You're new age. You're blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then they decide to not go. That's their choice. It's fine.
Okay. Talk about that. Lord, we could talk forever, I swear. Um, there was something that I was you know how we've been told in many sessions that we've been strategically placed around the planet, and we couldn't be placed together because if we banded together we would not grow. And I understand that, and it gets really hard sometimes because as light workers we're like, oh my god, why can't you just be right close to me, Angie, so we can go get a
I
cup of
know.
coffee and like feel each other's energy in real life, because we have yet to see each other in person. Okay.
Right.
Even though we work together in the astral, like I know her, it's not the same when you can see her in the human form. But that's coming, by the way. Um,
Yeah.
and I've connected with a lot of people around the world. I've got, friends all over America. I've got friends in New Zealand and Canada and the Philippines, and like there's people all over the place that I've connected in together, but we're not at the same place strategically. And there was this girl that she was talking about. She was asking about why we were done this way. And she saw this vortex. And this vortex was just spinning dark. Okay. And this darkness was going and going. And it was like funneling into Gaia, right? It was funneling into the ground. But it was like this big black vortex. And so it was pulling all of the darkness in. And the only way that this was being created was she, being the light, was able to create this vortex to suck in the darkness. And the crazy thing is that it was also sucking in people of low density that made the choice that they no longer wanted to be a part of the light. And so it was clearing the density in this vortex. But the only way those vortexes can exist is that we have to be placed around the world in specific places to activate these vortices in
Yeah.
order to funnel the darkness. And I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds like an Angie thing, because you always talk about vortexes. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, because here I am. I don't know about you, but I was not born in Tennessee. I was born in South Carolina, and I moseyed my way from South Carolina to North Carolina over to Tennessee. And where I am in the smack dab middle of Bible City, like I am surrounded by people so deep in religion. And I'm like, why was I put here? Right.
Right.
But if you think about that,
Yes.
oh, that's why I have to be the vocal cord. I have to tell, because this is not going to be for everybody. If you've watched it to this point, you're just like, holy crap, I resonate with everything you're saying. Because this is about, at this time, the people that's on the fence going, I think I am, but I'm not sure. I know about this, but I'm not 100% where I need it. I don't know, but I'm questioning everything. Even if you're questioning one thing about your existence, like that's a starting point. But I'm like, whoa. And you've made your way to Florida. And where are you located, right?
Right. From Illinois. I don't know
Yeah.
why I left there. I couldn't take the density anymore.
That's what I couldn't say in South Carolina. It's the same thing.
Couldn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have
So
you been back?
I have. Yeah.
What does it feel like when you go back?
Still dense. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's still like a it was worse when I had
Mm-hmm.
gone back. You know, that dense feeling in the it's almost like a suffocation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like but it's an energetic feeling. I don't know, because I mean the love of my family and my friends that are there
Mm-hmm.
is like just below that darkness, you know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
feel like they're a little light in the darkness.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it felt like, because the significant difference between there and where I currently live right now was that catapulted when I moved. That
Mm-hmm.
catapulted my awakening, and that was before 2020. So
Yeah.
that was, yeah, 2018 I moved here, and I was catapulted into an awakening, like,
Wow.
yeah, like never before. And then
Yeah.
2020 came and it was even more. I was like, whoa, now I know. I think that's why maybe I moved here, because I needed that kickstart
Mm-hmm.
before the grand shift in
Yeah.
my before the grand shift in my own awakening.
Yeah.
So
Well, I could say the same thing. When I went back, what was it? Back in September, I even met up with friends, and just the atmosphere I now see it. And see, I didn't stay. I moved out of South Carolina from my hometown whenever I was 23. Yeah, 24. Um, and I just knew there was nothing there for me. It felt like a dead end. And then we moved to North Carolina. So being in that environment again, now that I'm awake and aware of the energy, it's poverty stricken. Such a huge lack mindset. Everybody I talk to, they're always talking about how broke they are. They're driving new cars and nice
right.
clothes, but they're like, I'm so broke that I can't this, and I'm so broke I can't that. And, we're not rich, we're so broke. And I'm like, dang, I didn't say anything because, they don't know what I do. I literally just like friended them back. I kind of like, I just, went through a stage of my awakening. I'm like, I don't know any of y'all. We don't talk anymore. Delete, delete, delete. So I went through and cleared all my stuff out. So now I'm back and I'm like, I don't know if they might need some like jolting. I don't know. And maybe they're like at this pivotal moment, they might need to choose. I don't know. But I befriended them. But I was just really shocked at all the people that I was around. And there's so much drug activity, and there's a lot of homelessness, and oh my gosh, and like lots of crime
Yes.
in my hometown. And I was just like, whoa, bird's eye view this time, knowing what I know. I'm like, look at all the density. Like all of these people are
Yes.
carrying all of this burden, all of this programming. And you think back, like my parents were farmers. So you can see where that lack program came in, and
Yes.
hoarding, and you know what I mean? It's just like, wow, none of that's left then, because they don't know outside of that area. And I had to get out. I had to be in it so I could see it and grow up in it, and then step away and move and move and move. And I was never I think I was searching for home and, home
Yeah.
not here, but I kept
Yeah.
searching for home. But where I'm at now in Tennessee, I absolutely love it because I'm close enough to everything, 30 minutes to
Mhm.
like big stuff, but I'm far enough away that it doesn't affect me too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like the
Yeah.
energy here is so different than there.
Yes. Yeah, when you were saying that, I just remember when I was visiting with my sister and we drove we were from one destination to the other on the way there. We literally watched almost in real time a shooting happen right on the highway. And the
Wow.
police coming right to it because by the time we got home, it was on the news. And then as we're driving, we drive past this bar, and there's this bloody kid on the outside, and they're like fighting, and there's a paddy wagon. I'm like,
Wow.
it was like one thing after the next just to get home, and I was like, oh Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
So
crazy.
yeah, but yeah, you can feel the different energies, the different densities,
And if
depending on the
Yeah,
mindset of
if you
where you're at.
actually even tap into energy, a lot of us are empaths. If you would tap into energy, like you can go to, say, for instance, I would go to North Myrtle Beach and I hated it. And then you go to North Myrtle and it was better. And then if you went down more south, like the Surfside or trying to think where the other beach was, but um when you went more south away from Myrtle, it was a different feel. It's like, and I going back, this is so weird. We went to this one of the state parks. I think it's Huntington Beach State Park the first day, and this is back in September. Um, when I went there, it was so much more calm, and the waves were just different. And then the very next day, we went to Myrtle Beach, and it was chaos. I mean, choppy, and I'm like, we're talking 15-minute difference. It's the
Yeah.
same ocean, right? And when I got out there, first of all, I felt like Mama Gaia was like, I need you to do some stuff. So I went out there and I was actually kind of testing what I can do. And she was like, show so I was like activating my hand chakras and I was like, let's do this, man. And I was doing shokure out there into the water and I was doing my hands under the water and I was just like loving energy. And I kept saying, let's calm down. Let's just calm down. We can calm down. It's okay. Letting go of the chaos. And whatever was coming to mind, I don't even know what I was doing, but I was literally,
Yeah.
my mama, she was sitting on the beach and something drew her attention to look at me and she started videoing and she was like, this is weird. Cause she takes the video and she looks down and up and on either side of me, it's like choppy as crazy waves and just like within and I would say like 15 feet on either side. It was just like little tiny like very
Wow.
small waves, like barely even crust, like a white crust where I was at, where right, on either side of me, 15
Yes.
feet, it's just like, you could feel anger. And that's when Gaia was showing me, like, you can tap in and you can feel into it and share your light even with the water, because water is energy and I'm
Definitely.
so invigorated by water. And I thought that was really a cool moment. And I was like, ooh, and now if I could do that, and that's when they showed me, now let's go work on. Actually, they showed me how to dissipate a thunderstorm. So that same day, I was looking up in the clouds and I could see a thunderstorm brewing. And I was like, in the water still, because I think water must be my thing. I don't know. I really energize with water. And of course, I'm
It's
grounded too because I'm standing on the dirt. I don't know. Maybe I have, and then the
well,
sun, maybe,
it's very like a conduit for
yeah.
energy, right?
Yeah.
I think
It
that could be
it was
why.
so weird because it was like I had to be in the water to do it. So anyways, I'm sitting in there and I'm focusing in on that cloud and I mean it's black and I'm like and I imagine taking my fingers going whoosh, break it up. You don't need to have this is going to be a beautiful day, you know. And I don't know what I was saying, but I was just whatever, you know. And next thing you know, it just started breaking up. Next thing you know, the sun came back out.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that was cool. You know, and then of course you start going and down. Did I really do that? And then I heard, okay, now let's get on to Milton. And then I was like, what? Huh? What are you talking about? And it's like, yeah, we can do this. And so that's when I was getting guided. So, you know, it was like they were showing me what I could do consciously with the waves, with the clouds, you know, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. You know, like I have powers in wake state. I do this stuff all the time in dream state, you know, like
Yes.
blast my light. I'm a Care Bear. Woo. Um, but yeah, so me doing it in wake state, I'm like, wow, okay, can I do this? And so, you know, that was
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
showing me how I guess I could use my light in a different way. It's really
Yeah.
cool. I've learned so much in the last couple of months. It's been like download of stuff.
Yes, that's awesome.
Hmm.
That's very cool.
And when I was in Chattanooga, and I still don't really understand this. So Gaia was guiding me, and we went on this hike, and there was this creek that was running through, and there was like a lake in the back, and our goal was to make it to, it was called the Blue Lake or Lagoon, or I don't know what it's called. Anyways, so we was gonna go see it because I'm like, oh, it's blue. Never seen like any kind of like creek or river looking blue, so it must have been the rocks. We get to a place where we climb down. Yeah.
Like a spring, maybe?
I don't know. Well, it turned out to be like a really deep, like a river that fed into this where all the rocks are, you know. But we walked down and we got into the water, and we were just kind of like taking a break, and took my shoes off, and I was doing all kind of things, and I was feeling into the energy, kind of like getting into the now moment, sinking into my heart. You know, all my family's around, and they're like, oh, there she goes again, being all woo woo, whatever. You know, I'm just like, I don't care. I'm just sitting here like, oh God, this just feels so good. And I'm connecting in with Gaia, and Gaia goes, stick your hands in the water. I was like, okay. So I stick my hands in the water, and I stick them on a rock, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden my eyes just start flickering, and I can't control them. And I know they're not moving. Like I can tell that my eyelids are not opening up, but I'm talking about light. I mean, lights were just flashing with my eyes closed, but my eyes were just steady jumping. And I was just like, whoa, I could feel like my whole body was just vibrating like this. And it was like,
Oh, cool.
I wonder if anybody could see me. I don't think anybody could. I think it was more of an internal thing, but my eyes were definitely showing me like the vibration.
Right.
And I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. I'm so connected into Gaia right now. Oh, this is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
But when she says stuff, I'm like, she has guided me on so many things. I'm just like, okay, what we're gonna do next? You know, I'll try anything at this point, you know, within reason. You know, I'm not gonna go like electrocute myself or something. I don't know. I might try it just to see what would happen. I don't know. Maybe I'll pop out my body or something. But yeah, she's taught me a lot in the last couple of months. Like,
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's been some weird stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, I am going to end this because we have been talking for quite a while. We can stay on after, but yeah. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and end this. So if you have made it to this point, thank you for being here. I know we went all over the place, and we could talk for hours. This is how much this woman, my love for you, I can't even express in words. And I'm so grateful for you in my life. I'm so grateful that I know you in human form, because I know you in astral. I know you in different galaxies. For the multidimensional you, I know you and I love you, and you're an amazing person. And I'm so glad that our paths have came together, and that we activate each other, because we really truly do. There's so many times that I've texted you and I'm like, oh my gosh, this. And then you're like, no freaking way, that. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I just got this vision. You're like, no way, I did too, like last week. And I'm like, no way, I just saw this. And it's just like back and forth, back and forth. Oh, so
I know.
that's how I know we're connected. And we always, our higher versions of self are always like using each other to like activate more stuff. I feel like we definitely do some kind of activation or something within ourselves. It's insane.
I
So
agree.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you more than
I
you can ever
appreciate
know.
you. Well, I right back at you because I feel the same exact way about you. So
Oh
I
gosh.
appreciate you too
Yeah. All right. Well,
and love you.
I love you
Mm.
too. So grateful for you. So again, if you've watched this part, stay tuned because hopefully we will have more chats in the future. We love you so very much.